Okay, so your new Begvana bass tailless just arrived in the mail, and these are absolutely killer harps for the money at a really low cost. But you may find that your tailless Morchang is a little bit rough to the lips, rough on the tooth. What you're going to need is a small scrap of 1000 grit sandpaper. I think this is wet or dry 1000 grit sandpaper, and a scrap of 100 grit sandpaper, or if you've got it, a small or very fine file. First thing we're going to do is you may find the end of the harp to be just a tad bit rough. You can dress this with a small file to the outside of the tip of this frame, avoiding the trigger area, avoiding the embouchure area. Or you can take yourself a piece of 100 grit sandpaper and just right on the very tip, we're going to lightly rub. We're going to knock that sharp corner off there because we don't want that being sharp on our lips. Now I'm doing this on all 3 of these sides, but I'm avoiding the trigger area and I'm avoiding the inside of the embouchure area because we don't want to create larger gaps in it. We'll just take that, and it's just a very, very gentle motion just until that tip is knocked off there. And then the rest of the harp you may find minor abrasive surfaces, minorly sharp. So what you're going to do is you're going to take yourself your 1000 grit sandpaper, and you're just going to sand along the frame. I'm sanding on the outsides of the frame, front and back, outsides of the frame, not sanding on the reed. I'm not sanding on this inside embouchure area. Avoid that. Don't sand on that. We're going to sand on the outside. And I especially like to sand on the decorations to smooth them up just a little bit. Coming around the back side of the frame. I'm going to sand. This may take you up to 5 minutes, if even that. We're sanding both sides, and you see the metal's already starting to come off. You're going to get some metal dust on your fingers, but we're going to be washing this harp after we get done in hot soapy water. Just going around front and back. This is going to make for a much smoother, nicer, easier to hold harp. I'm really going to concentrate on these areas right here. Man, I like those decorations. Those are all hand-done decorations by the Lohar Begvana, but you do need to do a little bit of light cleanup on these. We go feel around, feel if anything still feels rough. Sand it to your liking. Now you're going to go take this to your sink and just wash it off. Okay, now we've finished sanding. We got her nice and smooth. Next thing we're going to do, come over to your kitchen sink, and we're just going to use some regular dishwashing soap. We're going to wash off all that metal dust and anything that might be left over from the forging. Rub some soap on it. I just use hot water. Now you can use cold water if you'd like, but I find that hot water seems to get off the soap a little bit better. I'm just going to wash it all around, make sure, and you can take a rag or a sponge to it if you'd like. Feel around, make sure you have all that soap off here. Now, next step, and this is very important, make sure we're going to dry this completely because this is a forged steel harp. We're going to dry it very thoroughly. Make sure that there's no moisture left on it. Dry your hands off, dry the harp off. We don't want to leave any moisture left on here. Get the inside, get the outside, get embouchure areas. Dry that. Get the trigger area, dry around where the reed goes in. Just blow the water out of there. We're going to dry it very, very thoroughly. And then the last step, before you store your harp, I like to hit it with some just plain coconut oil. Put a little bit of coconut oil on it. Wipe it free and clear the coconut oil, and you are good to play. All right, we've smoothed the harp out. We've cleaned it up. It's all washed off. Let's get an ear on it. How does it sound? Oh, that is a killer harp. That is now a comfortable harp. Anyways, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Keep your harps clean, keep them dry, keep them old, and most of all, be good to each other. I love y'all. Harp out. Hee!